for tuning in for a special edition of Unreal Talk.
At the movies.
I'm Brian, and I'm pointing at you. That's Dave. It's a long night.
Midnight screenings are a bitch.
Yeah, we just got finished watching Age of Ultron.
That's right. The Avengers. Joss Whedon's contribution to the nerd world.
Yep, and this should go without saying, but spoiler alert.
Okay, yeah, here's the spoiler-free review. Awesome movie, go see it. Everything after this point is going to be so spoiler-heavy, you're going to not want to watch it afterwards.
Yeah, you might want to turn the video off. Actually, you know what? Just, turn the sound off and go to a different window. That way we still get the view.
Yeah. Just watch the whole thing on mute. Watch other YouTube videos at the same time. It's cool.
Yeah, I'm not going to put spoiler pictures up or anything like that this time.
Maybe.
When we go back and maybe do a full, extensive, Marvel Universe review, that'll be different.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's get started. So initial thoughts of the movie.
Wow. Just, whoa. Because, wow.
Yeah. It's a pretty awesome movie.
Because it's it starts off, boom, there's a fight, and then there's the Avengers fighting the bad guys, who are the last of the Hydra agents, apparently. Probably not, but it's their last big stronghold, so they're taking it out. And they find some awesome toys in the Hydra basement. Yeah,
apparently Hydra's been busy reverse engineering the Shi'ar alien Chitauri.
Can't say Shi'ar. That's X-Men.
Yeah, anyway, reverse engineering one of their ships for the technology and making robots.
And playing with Loki's scepter.
Yeah, because they got a hold of that at some point.
They were working the shaft and everything.
Yep, exactly. And, yeah, and how I felt about the movie, kind of the same thing. It immediately puts you into action.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not one of those movies that you don't feel
Because, we had the benefit of the Avengers movie first. So, we got the origin story out of the way. We already know why everyone's fighting alongside each other. We all know what's the driving force behind their war against the enemies of humanity. And now we just watch the war.
Exactly. And, you can go all the way through this movie and completely feel satisfied. Because, yeah, it's like wall-to-wall action. There's a couple breaks in the action, but you never feel bored, for those.
Because that's when the actual story happens and the acting and, with the cast, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's hey, you know what? The Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were in... Pietro and Wanda were in it.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think they could use the name Scarlet Witch and
Technically, no. Because it's affiliated with the X-Men, which is affiliated with that failure of a movie studio, Fox.
Well...
And they're going to keep driving those franchises into the ground until no one comes to see their movies anymore. Yeah. Which is basically 5 minutes after Hugh Jackman says he can't make it back for the next movie.
Yeah, which he's already done, so that's...
Yeah, if you were waiting for that Apocalypse movie... I hope you like Apocalypse, because there's no Wolverine.
Yeah, and that's going to be the end of, half the cast of the new class, or whatever.
Although, Deadpool.
Yeah, that's...
50-50, not sure about that. We'll get back to that when it happens.
Oh yeah, there's a Fox franchise, isn't it?
It's technically part of the X-Men.
Yeah.
Even though it's being handled apparently much better by people who actually care about the source material.
Yeah, it looks like it so far, but,
Because, Ryan Reynolds is a fan, and he's not going to let them just walk all over the name again.
Yeah.
Like he did last time.
I don't know, he kind of lost some points there with that one.
Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah, got a little sidetracked there.
Yeah, so fucking Scarlet Wanda and Pete.
Yeah.
They actually had accents. Which is something that I was mentioning when we were watching it. I was like, dude, they have accents.
Yeah.
Because in all the X-Men movies, fucking Quicksilver, supposed to be from, Eastern Europe, doesn't have an accent, just chilling in New Jersey, whatever. Colossus, known for speaking like this. They say, hey, Pete, and he's like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, because, of course, he's one of those, Twilight kids or something or other.
Yeah.
I think it literally might have been from...
Either way. They just seem allergic to accents, but apparently Marvel's actual studio is not allergic to accents.
Yeah. Marvel does really good about tying things in.
Mm-hmm.
and actually paying attention to their source material, and they should because they created it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, who's got a bigger stake in Disney characters than Disney?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And then they find...
Actually, that metaphor works on a couple of levels. Whatever, they're just signing the checks. They're just breaking in the money at this point. They don't care.
Yeah.
Same thing with Lucasfilm. Big pile of money, walk away.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, one thing that you're gonna love if you were a big fan of like Firefly, Buffy, Angel, is the dialogue.
Whedon is quippy.
Yeah.
Even Ultron was quippy.
Yeah.
That was kind of confusing, because, I mean, I've always seen, like, every time I've seen him in a comic or in a, animated series or whatever, it's always been, I will destroy the world, and he's sounds like Darth Vader, but in this one, he's like, damn, I forgot a word. He literally said that.
Yeah, he did. He forgot the word for children.
Yeah. It's big language. Every now
I mean, he was new. He, was just born that day, at that point. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I kind of had, a mini gripe with, though, was Ultron. I mean, it's not something that would, ruin the movie for me, obviously, but, just kind of how he was handled. I mean, it was dead on, his whole reasoning for everything he was doing, but, when he opened his mouth and talked, it didn't seem like Ultron to me.
You know what the problem is? Besides that, cough. Anyway, the real problem is, in the comics, Ultron was made by Hank Pym, who is a world-class fuck-up on every conceivable level. Everything he has ever done has gone down horribly. Even the Skrull, him, who was in charge of the invasion, was a fuck-up, which is why the invasion fucked up. Okay, so, let's just say you've got a world-class fuck-up building a robot. What does the robot sound like? Sounds like a megalomaniacal idiot, because that's who built him. A guy who's got, multiple personality disorders, beats his wife and gets drunk. Yeah, he's going to make an evil robot. Tony Stark makes Ultron.
Yeah.
He comes out an asshole. A wisecracking asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give him that one.
Well, he, kind of, 60% made Ultron. I mean, the mainframe was there. He just had to access it and kind of tweaked it.
But he overlaid it with a lot of his stuff, and...
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even Jarvis is quippy.
Yeah, that's true. And Friday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Friday.
Which is his new operating system.
Oh, yeah, and there's an Easter egg in there for anyone who's paying attention when Tony's picking out the voice of his new computer. Little Easter egg. Let you figure it out.
Yeah, you can look through the tapes that he has there.
Yeah, if you just happen to notice. I glanced at it and I was like, hey, because
yeah.
Easter egg.
But we'll get to the reason why he needs a new one eventually. But, well, actually, you know what? Let's kind of start with that, because, I mean, the first thing that happens with the...
Yeah, they win, basically. That's it.
Yeah.
Except the, I want to keep... Wanda.
Yeah. Well, you know who we're talking about, okay?
It grates having to differentiate because of studio politics, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Wanda gets into Tony's head and shows him the, world being destroyed and, taken over by the aliens, and he's like, oh my god, I have to do something to protect the Earth, so he builds Ultron.
Yeah. Which is a self-fulfilling prophecy, more or less, because Ultron is the thing that he ends up creating that tries to destroy the Earth.
Because, like every other fucking evil AI, he discovers that the reason that the world is in such a bad place and is not peaceful is because there's too many people on it.
Yeah.
And he decides to take care of that.
Which is pretty much an ongoing theme with artificial intelligence,
Mm-hmm. I mean, you see an AI support group. It's like Skynet, Ultron, HAL, a couple other computers like GLaDOS.
Yeah.
Just sitting around the room like, hey, how's it going? Just joined up today.
It'll be like that scene in
Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, exactly.
Evil AIs Anonymous.
Yeah. But anyway, he's alive for less than 2 minutes, and he ends up killing Jarvis.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, well,
killing is such a strong word for a computer.
Yeah, for an artificial intelligence.
But yeah, so, Ultron's taking over the internet, taking over the world, erasing all the cat videos, replacing them with evil death metal from robots.
Exactly.
Because that's what evil AI does.
That'd be an awesome name. Evil metal death robots.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Scandinavian metal.
Yeah.
Coming soon. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So yeah. I'm still gonna call them the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver because you know what?
Gonna get sued.
Yeah, I know. Like I was gonna say, go ahead and sue us, Fox.
Yeah. Hey, what else you got?
Are you gonna sue us for our YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Take away our 10.
Because I can launch a countersuit for the damages that I suffered watching your god awful X-Men movies.
And
pretty sure I'd win.
What's gonna happen with the Fantastic Four movie?
Oh, God. Yeah. You know, I actually can throw up in my mouth a little, and just did.
Yeah, that was another line. I'm telling the dialogue.
Yeah, Ultron and the hammer, and everybody tries to lift the hammer, but nobody can lift the hammer, and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, and
Thor looked really worried when Cap tried.
Yeah, Cap tried, and the hammer actually scraped across the table a little bit, and
Thor was like, whoa.
Yeah, because he had already told them all that whoever picks up the hammer basically becomes the king of Asgard.
Well, yeah, I think that was more of a joke, but people take those way too seriously these days.
Yeah. But that was funny though with Iron Man and War Machine, and they both had their
gloves on. They're trying to booster rocket the hammer up.
Yeah. By the way, yeah, it actually did have a War Machine in there. If you're a War Machine fan,
yeah, there was 5 whole minutes.
Yeah.
Of Don Cheadle.
Yeah.
Not as Captain Planet though.
No, but that'd also been awesome.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
and the Falcon, actually,
well, okay, more or less. I mean, he shows up at the party, and then...
yeah, when the shit hits the fan, he's nowhere to be found. But
that's not unreasonable, because he's on the fringe of superhero-dom.
Yeah,
and the fight that was going on was for big league players only. I hate to say it, but, yeah.
Well, them and Hawkeye, because...
Well...
Because,
fucking guy, that guy's a big league player. He's fucking scary.
Yeah. I mean, that's the... I've said it before on the show, but, but they get so much shit, like Hawkeye and, Black Widow, how they're missing in action, all the promo stuff, for the most part. I mean, they might get on a Slurpee cup, but as far as, I saw an Avengers commercial the other day for, the, Avenger toys at Target, where they had... They had Captain America, the Hulk, Thor, and Iron Man toys fighting an Ultron toy in the store with almost claymation movement things. And it's where are the other Avengers? You see the big life-size posters they have up of the 4 Avengers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well that's a different department entirely. I'm not even going to get into the marketing problems that Marvel has.
Yeah.
Because it's not just this movie, it's every fucking movie, and it's really gotten bad.
And they're not even up to them half the time as far as,
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, Marvel gives approvals to make toys, but when it comes down to it, they're just as confused as we are when they're like, hey, well, how come there's no Black Widow toy? And they're like, well, focus groups and marketing, and do really people want to really buy one? And they're like, whatever, just make the fucking toys.
It's the world's not ready for a female Avengers toy.
No, this isn't DC. Yeah. Anyway, so Ultron.
Yeah, so anyway, Ultron kills Jarvis.
Takes the scepter.
Yeah, he takes the scepter, him and all of the Iron Man robots, because do you remember the Iron Man robots from Iron Man 3?
They all blew up. This is something else.
Yeah.
He's got a tiny team of the Iron Legion, which is a half a dozen Iron Man suits that are completely autonomous and controlled by Jarvis. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's kind of... The reason why I bring them up is it's kind of, similar.
Well, not at all, because, I mean, there's the Iron Legion are kind of... I mean, they look like chumps, really, compared to everything I saw at the end of Iron Man 3.
Well, yeah. I mean, those were legitimate Iron Man suits, though. I mean, those are things Tony could have jumped into.
Yeah, this is Tony just made some robots to keep the crowds away from the Avengers fights. Yeah. And that's pretty much all they did up until the fight started.
Yeah, I mean, they could fight. I mean, they had lasers, which they proved, but, I mean... And they can drive trucks.
Yeah, there's really not a whole lot to it. But at that point, he was also using Strucker's robots, too, so...
Yeah. And then there's always like one Ultron robot out of all of them, so he can.
Yep, and he's got plenty of extras, spares laying around.
Yeah, because Ultron could jump from robot to robot if necessary, and he did.
But yeah, let's see, what else were we dealing with?
There's a lot.
Ultron fights.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I mean, of course, Ultron was like the main focus.
Hulk gets mind controlled by Wanda and sent off to rampage a city, and then
which makes that. The commercial that you saw for the Hulkbuster armor versus the Hulk doesn't do the fight justice.
Yeah, there's like 3 seconds of them tossing each other around, and it was actually more like 10 minutes.
Yeah, and not only that, but it was awesome. You just have to watch it, like especially how the armor was designed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pieces and bits and things flying around.
Yeah, it's like Tony really thought this shit out.
Because he knew that, shit was going to get bad and there'd be broken pieces that need to be replaced on the fly. And he's got his little repair drone just firing spare parts at him.
Yeah, there's just this thing flying over them during the fight that just fires parts down as you request it, like arms and, like, back armor.
He's like, I need a new piece of back armor. Okay, slap it on.
And the other arm that he had on there had like a hydraulic like punching thing.
And some of the dialogue in that fight was just hilarious. Some of the things that Iron Man was saying.
Yeah. And when the Hulk like spit out the tooth and just gave him that look, and he's like, "I'm sorry."
And he was punching him in the face. He's like, "Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep." I'm like, "Oh my god, really?"
Well, if you're fighting the Hulk, I mean, I don't care how much armor I had. I'd be scared for my life fighting the Hulk.
You'd be like quietly praying the whole time you're pummeling him.
Yeah. It's like, you know what, I have total confidence in my technology, but please don't fight back too hard.
Please, whatever god there may be, Thanos, Thor, Odin. Wait, why am I praying to Thor? Get down here! But Thor was off on a vision quest because he got Mind Mojo too, and he saw
Ragnarok.
Pretty much the progression of the next couple of Marvel movies. What with the Infinity Stones showing up, and the 6 gems, and how he's like, oh, I got to go back to Asgard now and deal with some shit, and then I'm gonna start looking for the gems. Yeah.
So Ultron, anyway, he as we've discussed, has decided to go ahead and obliterate mankind.
But he wants to replace it with something better because he's not a total dick.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of.
Yeah. Which, I kind of feel for him, I think...
He just wants to make some improvements. I think we've all been there. We've all been in an unsatisfactory work environment, and we've all wanted to make changes, but we can't. He just can make the changes, so we're probably just projecting jealousy.
Exactly. And he was going to start with himself, and that's where the Vision comes in.
Yeah.
Because he goes to Wakanda...
Well, he goes to a guy who was smuggling vibranium out of Wakanda. They never actually said they were in Wakanda.
Yeah.
They just happened to be hanging around Africa where this smuggler was, who happens to have a boatload of vibranium that gets stolen by Ultron.
Yeah.
Who then grafts it onto a genetic matrix from a human. They didn't really get too specific about what the hell happened there.
Yeah.
But he grew himself a bioorganic robot body and put the Infinity Gem, which was actually hidden in the scepter the whole time.
Yeah.
Saw that coming.
Yeah.
The Mind Stone, because, it affects people's minds. So, he broke that out of the scepter, and then he put it on the Vision, and he's just like, okay, I'm going to upload myself. And then fight breaks out, and he has to stop uploading. He's like always interrupting his uploads and downloads. And
because the Avengers are constantly attacking him.
Banging on the door and, causing trouble.
Yeah. So eventually the Vision, body or cocoon, I guess you could say, because it's in this metal, thingamabob.
They call it the cradle.
Yeah. So that gets wrestled away, and with an intention of just destroying it.
But then Tony's like, well, because this turns out this whole time, Ultron hasn't been able to get a hold of the nuclear weapon codes that he's been trying to get, and no one knows why. But it turns out there's bits and pieces of Jarvis scattered over the internet that have been cock-blocking Ultron's every attempt to actually do anything devastating.
Yeah. And so Tony reconstructs him through the pieces that he finds. and then decides that he's going to download him into the new android body that Ultron created.
Which sparks this whole discussion about no, yes, no, yes. Stark, stop fucking around. If you play God one more time, I swear to God.
Yeah, and then the Avenger fight breaks out, like in the first movie.
That didn't take very long, though. That was a quick-ass fight.
Yeah, it was. Everything moved really quick in this movie.
Especially Quicksilver.
Yeah, that's true.
He fucking flew into the room, unplugged everything, and then out of nowhere, Thor
comes down, hits it, with the hammer.
Because he's done his vision quest, and he just sparks that shit up with God lightning, and it just pops out like, "Ho, what's up?"
Yeah, because you know what? Thor's got the ultimate spoiler alert, so he knows.
And then capes.
Yep.
Because capes.
Yeah, for whatever reason, the Vision, he can kind of change his shape a little bit.
Well, he's always been able to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. For the people who don't know, I mean, I'm sure there might be some people that are watching this review to see if the movie was any good, or maybe they just wanted to get someone else's input.
Those people should have already been dialed out at this point. They should be watching on mute and be like...
Yeah, hopefully.
He's behind you.
If they don't know what's going on,
okay then.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, the Vision tells them all, that he's working with them because he's with life, and he's the opposite of Ultron, who wants to kill everyone.
And he's like, well, you know what? I got to do this thing to help people because people aren't that bad.
Yeah. So, I mean, technically an event, well, up until the end of the movie, he's just kind of working with them.
Yeah, he's just sort of a artificial intelligence that's along for the ride to stop Ultron.
Yeah.
Which they do.
But that's another, minor gripe. Like I said, I've only had minor gripes. I have nothing against this movie. This movie was wonderful.
Substantial, because he hasn't read a comic in, 10 years.
Yeah, but... but even then, I really wasn't so fond of the Vision enough to actually...
He was an oddball character. I mean, just another one of Hank Pym's screw-ups.
Yeah, but it was like
a robot that at any moment could break down and just start spitting little Ultrons out that grow into full-grown Ultrons and start trashing Avengers Mansion just because someone activated the wrong code. Yeah.
I think I actually remembered something like that.
That's what happened when the Avengers got disassembled that one time. Cause
he
just wandered onto the premises and he was like, sorry. And then he just goes, and he starts spitting little Ultron robots out. They grew into real Ultrons, and then he got ripped in half by She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And then he got put into that Iron Man armor from the 30th century in the Young Avengers comic. That was something that happened later. Anyway, yeah. What were you griping about?
Oh, yeah. That he was underutilized in the story is mostly what it was. Because, I mean, they had somewhat of a build-up in the movie to Ultron. It's like, I'm creating the ultimate organism, and I'm going to put myself in it, and, he's super powerful, and only then will I be able to destroy the Avengers. Well, I think Ultron probably, if he was on the wrong side, could have destroyed
It wasn't about destroying the Avengers. It was about making humanity evolve and creating a combination of metal and flesh, which is ultimately what the Vision was, and he did. And he was going to put himself in there, and then he got interrupted, and then they're like, haha, stole your body, and they put Jarvis in there instead.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what the fuck?
I mean, that was his first objective, though, was to destroy the Avengers, which was weird because he was originally created to help the Avengers, but within 10 nanoseconds, he decided the Avengers were part of the problem and needed to be dealt with.
That just goes back to the whole evil AI thing. People are too much of a trouble to be left alive.
Yeah.
Evil robot speak.
Yeah, just, the thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, the Vision was a cool character. I mean, he did what the Vision does. Mm-hmm. You saw some of his powers, his little vision blasts, and, he'd phasing through shit, which is pretty much just what the Vision did.
Creating capes on demand.
Yeah.
He was looking at Thor, and he's just like, and all of a sudden he made a cape.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
And he picked up Thor's hammer.
Brings me to the other thing.
Yeah, picking up Thor's hammer and handing it to him on the way out.
Yeah, he's like, we have to go, and he just picks up the hammer and hands it to Thor, and Thor's like, all right, I'm following him.
Which leads to another funny line towards the end of the movie about the elevator.
Well, yeah, that's the different thing, but
yeah, yeah, but
because he's a robot, everyone suspects that's why he can lift the hammer.
Yeah, it's not that he's worthy because they make an argument that if Thor put the hammer on an elevator and hit the up button, it would go up, in the elevator's not worthy.
Well, of course, there was that other funny line about the balance and the...
Oh, yeah, when he hit Ultron.
Yeah, one of the funnier moments in the entire fucking movie is Thor's being choked out by Ultron, and he's like, I am Thor of Asgard, and as long as I have breath in my butt, and I'm running out of things to say, are you ready? And Bill's like, wait, what? And then Ultron turns and Vision bitch slaps him with Mjolnir.
Yeah.
And breaks him in half.
Yeah. And then mentions how amazingly balanced the hammer is.
And
Thor's like, well, of course. Yeah.
Have enough power on the swings.
Yeah. There's just so many quips in that movie. It's
like a comic book.
Yeah. Exactly. It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, there's really nothing to say about it. I mean, yeah, Vision came in a little late, but I think for his particular portion of the movie, he pretty much, made it worthwhile.
Yeah.
Especially right at the very, very end. They destroy all the robots and stuff, and then one of them is pulling itself onto a cliff, and Vision's standing there, and, they have this whole talk about philosophy, and Vision makes a bad joke, and then just blows the fucking robot up.
Yeah, which ends Ultron.
In theory.
Yeah, as long as there wasn't another...
Yeah, that's the problem with Ultron. He exists as an intelligence in a machine. He could be anywhere. He could have left like a dozen or so copies just spread around the world waiting.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, that castle, that they were building the Ultrons at...
Although, I do believe that castle was part of the city that...
Oh, yeah, that's right. That he decided
But either way, I mean, he could have sent, like, a dozen Ultron bodies just all over the world and said, wait.
Yeah.
Like, you wait 10 years, you wait 5 years...
Yeah, which would
5
have been
years,
the smart...
guys. If you win, wake up to 10 years, guys.
Yeah. Or just let him sleep, because you never know, it could be another...
It could be an uprising.
Yeah. Or it could be another alien invasion pop up, and,
Yeah, and then he'll have to show up and kill the aliens.
Yeah.
But yeah, Thor went back to Asgard because he has to deal with some shit.
Yeah, plus he has another movie coming out in another couple years, so... Mm. He has to be back on, he has to be back home.
I wonder if they're going to keep the whole rule of 3 thing for all the characters, or just as needed. Because, I mean, honestly, I don't really need another Iron Man movie.
Yeah, and there's not one...
See, that's the difference between Marvel and DC. DC sees Batman as a successful franchise. They make 2 good movies, and they're like, hey, we need to make 3. Yeah. Like, hey, we make 3. We can get more money if we make 4. Like, they could make an Iron Man 4, but Marvel's like, no, I think we're cool.
Yeah.
They've made their money on that character, and they're going to keep him around as an ancillary character, but he's not going to be, the focus of the entire thing.
Yeah. Well, my best analogy on that is, as far as, like, what DC's doing? So my 8-year-old daughter, right, she'll, like, do something funny inadvertently, and everybody will laugh, and she'll be like, hey, people thought that was funny. So she'll do it again, on purpose.
Like 5 minutes after doing it the first time?
Yeah, or less. And then, maybe somebody still laughed or whatever, so she'd do it again.
And then
now nobody's
like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, that was funny the first time. You can stop that now, and she might do it like one more time just to make sure. That's DC. It's like, oh, that was awesome, and then they make another movie. It's like, oh, that one was okay, and they make another one like, that kind of sucked, and then they make another one, and they're like, what the fuck, DC?
Yeah.
But Batman and Robin now exists. Thanks.
Yeah, it's like, we could do with an Iron Man 4. There's plenty of villains out there.
Yeah.
There's things they haven't touched on. The Crimson Dynamo might be nice.
Yeah. I'd like to see...
It all just comes back to kind of Iron Man's more of the same villains.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, is I'd like to see if they do another Iron Man movie ever, a non-guy in a suit.
I'd like to see the actual Mandarin. I mean, I know there was that one shot where they kind of hinted that... the goofy actor guy was more than he was portraying. But, I mean, I'd like to see the fucking magic rings. Well, magic, advanced science from alien worlds, whatever.
Yeah, or whatever it ends up being in that case.
But I'd like to see that as a thing, instead of him dealing with, another guy in a fucking suit.
Yeah. I mean, that's all you really got in the movies with him. But, I mean, there's
in Iron Man 3, he did spend a lot of the movie out of the suit.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the one thing I found was really refreshing about that movie, was because he wasn't in the suit all the time.
Yeah.
He actually had to spend most of the movie out of the suit up until the big fight, because it was all fucked up and he didn't have anything to replace it with.
Yeah, and the story more revolved around, well, the aftermath of the Avengers, really, with him as far
as a person.
Yeah. Which, I mean, yeah, it was different. I mean, it was good, but I mean, I myself, I mean, you might have found that refreshing. I thought it was a good take on it. I didn't think the movie was bad.
Well, you know what? If you've had the same chicken dinner every day for a year, and then suddenly someone comes along and offers you fried chicken instead of baked chicken, that's refreshing. That's where the change comes in. That's really, wow, something different. I like different. And that's the thing about Iron Man. It's like, as long as he's a guy in the suit, nobody can hurt him, and, you know, he's pretty much invincible. But there's a point where he has to step out of the suit. And he actually spent a bit of the movie out of the suit, too.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, it's like, unless they were actually in combat, he was out of the suit. Yeah. He actually got out of the suit in the middle of the bad guy's fortress.
Yeah. Which was confusing, but, I mean, it's neat that it had a sentry mode. Like, he walked out and, like,
he's got Jarvis.
Yeah.
He just has to tell Jarvis, take over, I'll be back in a minute. But it's not like the suit followed him into the bad guy's fortress.
Yeah.
I'm like 3 steps around the corner, all of a sudden you hear a gun go off. Yeah. And Tony's like, ow, 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 Jarvis, Jarvis, ow.
But actually, thanks to that, that's how Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch was able to sneak up on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is probably the only reason.
Yeah.
Although it seems like her powers are, you know, a little bit beyond just being blocked by a tin can. I mean, she managed to nail Thor with a whammy.
Yeah, if she can get a god, she can get a...
Or a sufficiently advanced alien...
well,
whatever.
You know, a god.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes.
But I am mighty, and oh, damn it.
I am mighty, and oh shit, where did these come from?
Language.
Another running joke was Captain America and his language.
Yeah.
Just slipped out in the middle of that first fight, and it just kept coming back to that.
The entire rest of the movie, every time somebody was like, hey, language.
It's a running joke.
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the Avengers. I mean, you know, there was, of course, the little stinger after the movie. You know, apparently Thanos is taking his work hands-on now.
Yeah, which is good, well, obvious because, you know, the Infinity Wars coming up.
Except I'm kind of confused as to him having any of the stones at this point.
Yeah, I guess it's true. I mean...
Because, I mean, the Collector had one, but who knows what happened to that. Didn't Star-Lord give his to the Nova people for protection?
Yeah, but the thing, too, is that you don't know... and, you know, one of them now is the Vision, more or less.
Yeah. Well, or at least a piece of him.
Yeah.
Which makes me think they might not do Adam Warlock in the series.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, it's a bit of a build-up to bring him in, because you'd have to explain him, and then the Soul Gem, and then there's a whole history in the comics, which they could probably hammer out in a movie, but it'd be kind of hard to wedge into the Infinity War.
Yeah, and so far we already know Marvel's schedule on what movies are coming out, so, I mean, I'm sure...
I mean, not for nothing, but there's a pretty hefty build-up to the Infinity War. We could be seeing all kinds of shit in that movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
I mean...
Doctor Strange, Black Panther...
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Although I kind of wonder about if we're going to see another Spider-Man cameo or not. Because, I mean,
well,
I don't know on the full agreement with this whole Sony Marvel thing, but, I don't know, do you know if it was just like a one-shot for this one they had to agree on, or do they have to keep making this agreement every time Spider-Man shows up in a Marvel movie?
What I heard was that Sony here in America looked at Marvel's deal and said, go to hell, we're making our own movies. And then Sony Japan got wind of that and said, you get back in your giant fucking robot and you apologize and take the deal.
Actually, you know, that just made me think about something.
Spider-Man and a giant robot in the Infinity War?
Yes.
That would be awesome.
All of a sudden, Leah Pardon shows up.
Fucking Marveler flying out of the sky. Like, they find Spider-Man, he's got the big-ass wristband. They're like, what the hell is that for? Like, Marveler! And it fucking flies down into New York and is like, fight aliens.
They have a fake Spider-Man end credit I saw on YouTube. Have you seen that was floating online?
Oh, God.
claiming to be the end at the end of the Age of Ultron.
I get sick to death of all this fan-made trailer cameo bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm going to take bits and pieces from all the Avengers and from the Spider-Man movies, and I'm going to mix them together, and I'm going to make the Infinity War trailer. It's going to be cool. It's like, you know what? Cool your jets, fanboy.
If it hasn't started, it's coming already. If you YouTube Infinity War fan-made, I'm pretty sure you'll probably find some clips.
Because people think they're clever, and they're like, oh, I want to show my love for the... You want to show your love? Buy a fucking movie ticket.
I remember there was actually an Age of Ultron one, like, a couple months before the first trailer dropped, where somebody did, like, the Avengers movie, they did, Captain America, Thor, all that, mixed with the Terminator. Because at that point, nobody knew what Ultron, there wasn't any footage out.
Fucking retards.
I mean, it's not like nobody knew what Ultron was going to look like, because, Marvel has been pretty true.
And, yeah, because we've seen Ultron a dozen times. He's basically just a big metal man, various pointy bits.
Who gets bigger.
Occasionally shoulder pads.
Yeah. Depending on when he was drawn and who was drawing him. But I did think that... Movie. Yeah. I did think that one part was pretty cool, even if you thought that was kind of wasteful when he, ripped himself apart like that.
Yeah, I just thought it was a hell of a thing to do to make a point.
Yeah. But that one... I don't want to... I don't want to spoil too much of the dialogue because that's
we're spoiling everything. Yeah. This whole fucking spoiling.
But the one thing where it's like, oh, I was just going to spend the next couple minutes, on revealing my plan. Yeah. He just starts beating the shit out of the Avengers instead.
And now that you mention it, I was going to take the next couple of minutes to explain my evil plan, and then the fight starts because Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what they're going to do without him, because I don't think he's going to be overly involved in the next couple of movies, but...
Yeah, he announced he wasn't involved with the Infinity Wars. Maybe he'll have some input on the Captain America movie?
I don't know. I think Marvel would do well to keep him as the backbone of the cinematic universe, because you know what? When you let studio execs dictate what happens in a comic book movie... You get Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
When you let a fan dictate what happens in a comic book movie, you get Captain America, Winter Soldier, Iron Man 1, 2, and 3, Thor 1, 2, and soon to be 3, 2 different Hulk movies. I mean, come on, really?
Yeah.
And the money is following the fans.
Yeah, and DC, well, you'll see what a failure is soon, because,
I'm not going to call my shot on Superman v Batman just yet, but yeah, that movie is going to both suck and blow.
Yeah, and it might make money. It's going to make money. I guarantee it's going to make enough money.
It's going to make money because people are retarded enough to go watch it in the theaters.
Yeah, it's going to do well overseas. It's going to do well here. At least at first, people are going to talk shit about it, like maybe, a couple days into
We're gonna fillet that movie.
Yeah, I'm already warming up the grill to...
Even if it turns out to be great, I'll never say it. I'm going to pick this movie to pieces. I'm going to fucking play Operation on this movie. I'm going to get in there with the tweezers. I'm not going to touch the sides. And I'm going to rip out every little detail. Yeah, because everybody agrees that this movie is going to make enough money to be able to make the Justice League. Mm-hmm. Which this already is, but fuck it, no, because they're doing it backwards and it's all wrong. Yeah, but the execs. Yeah, that's what I'm going to use as your example here. Doing things wrong, letting the studio decide. That is going to be the Justice League movie. Although I got one. God, they got playing Aquaman. Yeah. Looks pretty badass. Oh, yeah, Jason Momoa. Just saying. Yeah. He's probably still going to be a pansy fish-talking bastard in orange shirt and green scaly tights. Yeah. But he looks cool. He did well in Conan. He played Conan in the Conan remake. And I thought that was he was pretty decent. But Conan's not Aquaman. Yeah, Does Conan talk to the fish? The fishies have no eyes. No, he can punch out a camel, but can he talk to a carp? I don't know if you tried. That's the question right there. But yeah, that's the one thing I'm willing to give this, DC universe is that Aquaman actually kind of looks cool for once.
Yeah.
They're probably going to manage to screw that up.
They probably will, because you know what? We don't have a script for...
And to be fair, I'm going to go into this Superman v Batman movie with a fine-tooth comb and some tweezers. And everyone's like, well, why don't you do that to Marvel? Because you can't.
Yeah.
I mean, I was looking. I was trying to find one or two things that I could be like, well, you know what sucked.
Yeah.
You know what was bullshit.
Yeah, because you notice even my, like, 2 nitpicky things I mentioned during this review, I never said that it sucked.
Yeah, and it wasn't bad. It was just a little different.
Yeah, it was a little different, and it wasn't something that, like, I'm going to be sitting there being like, oh, God, why did they do that? You know, it's just stuff that I noticed.
Yeah. So the only other thing to add to the Avengers is, like, just before the credits at the ass end, well, that is one thing I would definitely say fuck you about. But anyway, yeah, so, Captain America and the Black Widow are still at the new Avengers facility, which is somewhere in upstate New York, because they're not in the tower anymore, because reasons? I don't know, maybe because they blew too many holes in it during the Ultron fight.
Yeah.
Or people are just like, you know what, get that Avengers tower out of our fucking city.
I wouldn't blame them after everything that was going on.
Yeah, a little bit rough. But anyway, at the very end you see Falcon, Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver dies.
Yeah.
Heroic, tragic, saving Hawkeye, gets shot, gets killed, and yeah, he doesn't make it out of the movie. Because, they were teasing that one of the Avengers was going to wind up dead by the end of the movie.
And that's what
of course, it was the throwaway guy who just joined the team.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see. War Machine, Scarlet Witch, Falcon, and Vision have all joined the Avengers.
Yeah.
So the last thing you see is Captain America steps up and he says, Avengers! And just as he's about to say it, it cuts to directed by Joss Whedon, and I threw my middle finger up because, you know what?
God love Joss.
You gotta fucking say it at least once, you jackass. As big of an Avengers fan as Joss Whedon is, have you ever read his intro to the Ultimates?
Yeah.
Uh-huh, yeah. The team that doesn't work, that works, but it shouldn't. Mm-hmm, yeah. Because that's why he knows how to handle them, because he's the man. But yeah, fuck you for not having him say it at least once.
Yeah, at least not yet.
That was my tweezer moment right there. Didn't say the line.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I won't lie that I'm a little concerned about the Infinity War if he doesn't have input in it.
Well, as long as the people who wind up with their hands on the controls still know what they're doing, we'll be okay.
Yeah, because, he wasn't the only line of defense, basically. So,
you know what the thing about the Infinity War is? That comic series was a clusterfuck. This movie, these 2 movies, are going to be a clusterfuck. No matter how you slice it, this is going to be, oh my god, holy shit, what the fuck, from beginning to end. There's going to be, 5 minutes of them gathering the jewels, and then all of a sudden it's going to be fucking Armageddon. Just alien ships and fighting. It's going to be
superheroes. every hero that you've ever...
everyone that they can get to sign up for the movie.
Yeah. Probably some that we haven't seen yet.
Because Doctor Strange is coming out, Black Panther.
Who knows who might be in the Ant-Man movie or, the Black Panther.
Honestly, at first I was a little annoyed that Hank Pym wasn't involved in the creation of Ultron, but then I remembered Hank Pym's a certifiable fuck-up, and it's probably better that he wasn't involved at all. But yeah, so, it's one of those things where Hank Pym is a complete and total fuck-up. And we're probably better off with him being the villain in the Ant-Man movie. Because if you know anything about Hank Pym, the main villain for Ant-Man is going to be Yellow Jacket.
Yeah. Which we've already seen in the trailer, if you haven't seen the trailer yet.
Saw that.
Getting hit by Thomas. We'll probably review...
What are you going to do when you shrink? I'm just saying.
Yeah. Punch people with, Is that part ran up the guy's arm and punched him in the face, and the guy flew back like a full-size man had punched him?
Yeah, I'm guessing they'll explain that too.
Hopefully.
But yeah. Anyway, so that's the Avengers.
Yeah, that's the Avengers. Go see it.
Hank Pym is a fuck up.
If you've ever watched on Real Talk, you can take our word that this was definitely a fan, a movie made for fans.
And you can look forward to our next superhero battle coming very soon.
Yep.
And in the spirit of the Avengers, I think it's going to be Iron Man versus Hardware. Hardware, if you remember Milestone Comics, DC's Afrocentric line that came out in the 90s.
Yeah.
That's where they introduced the character of Static, who later on became Static Shock and a major children's cartoon star. Oh, man, those comics were harsh. But yeah, basically it's going to be Iron Man versus Iron Man-ish. But yeah, you know. We'll ruin that here.
If you don't remember, we'll remind you.
Yeah, we'll give you the full history and details.
Yeah. So yeah, go see Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
And we'll be back also for a movie review of what's the next Marvel movie coming? Is it going to be Captain America? No, it's Ant-Man. Yeah. We'll be back for Ant-Man probably. Maybe
we'll be back with whatever Marvel movie comes out next because, you know, as long as they're going to keep doing it right, we're going to keep showing up and making these videos about how awesome they're doing.
Yeah. And if they're doing it wrong, we're going to show up and remind them, you know, that they're fucking up.
I mean, believe me, if we had done I don't think we could have done a Wolverine Origins review or the Wolverine, because...
Yeah. And just... I don't even want to get started with the
coin toss that will be Deadpool. It's either going to be really awesome or it's going to suck balls.
Yeah.
But that's enough of that.
It is. All right. So until next time.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Exactly. And we will see you again soon on Unreal Talk.
Avengers...